I am Emma, a 29-year-old graphic designer living in Chicago. For 8 months, I thought Tyler was the one. Our relationship seemed perfect on the surface. I had struggled with insecurities about my looks since childhood, but Tyler made me feel beautiful. At least that is what I thought. I was excited for our anniversary dinner, carefully selecting my outfit and makeup. I had no idea my world was about to shatter. If you are watching this, please like, subscribe, and let me know where you are tuning in from. I met Tyler at my friend Jessica's art gallery opening. He approached me while I was examining a particularly striking abstract piece. His confident smile and intelligent eyes caught my attention immediately. "That artist is trying too hard," he said, nodding toward the canvas. "But I would love to hear your interpretation." Something about his directness intrigued me. Tyler was different from other men I had dated. He was a 32-year-old marketing executive with a prestigious firm downtown. Successful, articulate, and undeniably charming. We exchanged numbers that night, and he texted me the very next morning. Our first date was at a small jazz club. The conversation flowed effortlessly. Tyler asked thoughtful questions about my design work, my family in Minnesota, and my dreams for the future. When he walked me to my door, the goodnight kiss felt like the beginning of something significant. The first 6 months were wonderful. Tyler surprised me with weekend getaways to Michigan wine country. He remembered small details like my favorite flower were sunflowers, and that I preferred oat milk in my coffee. He introduced me to his circle of friends, mostly other professionals from his office. They seemed impressed that Tyler had found someone so artistic and unique, as they put it. Looking back, I can see the warning signs that began appearing around the 6-month mark. Tyler started making subtle comments about my appearance. At first, they seemed like helpful suggestions. "That shade of lipstick washes you out," he would say. Or, "Those jeans do not flatter your figure." I brushed these comments aside. After all, he was just being honest, right, and honesty was important in relationships. I told myself he wanted me to look my best because he cared. The criticisms gradually increased. Tyler began comparing me to other women we would see when out together. "See her. That is how you should style your hair." Or, "If you worked out more, you could have a body like hers." Each comment chipped away at my self-confidence, but I was already falling in love with him. And honestly, my insecurities made me vulnerable to his manipulation. I had been bullied about my appearance in middle school, called bug eyes because of my large eyes, and teased about my slightly crooked teeth. Those wounds had never fully healed. As time passed, Tyler became more controlling about my appearance. He would frown at my outfit choices and sometimes even ask me to change before we went out. He monitored my social media, suggesting I remove certain photos because I looked terrible in them. He even began dictating how I should do my makeup, showing me YouTube tutorials of looks he preferred. Instead of standing up for myself, I tried harder to please him. I bought new clothes that fit his aesthetic. I spent more time on my appearance. I became increasingly anxious about how I looked when we were together. With each passing week, I lost more of myself, desperately trying to become the woman he wanted. When Tyler called to invite me to dinner at Sullivan's, one of Chicago's most exclusive steakhouses, I was thrilled. It would be our 8-month anniversary, and I thought perhaps this special occasion meant he was going to take our relationship to the next level. Maybe even propose. The thought both excited and terrified me. I spent hours getting ready for that night. I styled my hair in loose waves the way he liked. I wore the black dress he had once complimented. I applied my makeup carefully, making sure to contour my cheeks and nose as he had suggested. Looking in the mirror, I hardly recognized myself. But I thought I looked beautiful. I thought I looked like what Tyler wanted. When I arrived at the restaurant, I was surprised to see Tyler already seated at a table with 3 of his friends. Jason, Derek, and Adam all worked at Tyler's firm. I had met them several times before, but I had never particularly warmed to them. They had the same slightly condescending attitude that Tyler sometimes displayed, especially after a few drinks. As I approached the table, I noticed something off about Tyler's expression. There was no warmth in his eyes when he saw me, no smile of appreciation for the effort I had made. His greeting was cool, almost dismissive, as he gestured vaguely to the empty chair beside him. "You are late," he said, though. I had arrived exactly at the time he specified. His friends exchanged glances, smirking slightly. I felt immediately uncomfortable, like I had walked into a situation I did not understand. Still, I smiled and greeted everyone, trying to maintain my composure. We already ordered drinks, Tyler informed me, not bothering to ask what I might want. The waiter appeared with a bottle of expensive Cabernet, pouring generous glasses for the men, and then almost as an afterthought one for me. Throughout the appetizer course, I tried to participate in the conversation, which revolved around office politics and a recent golf outing. Each time I spoke, Tyler would either talk over me or quickly redirect the conversation. His friends seemed to find this amusing, sharing knowing looks whenever it happened. As the evening progressed, Tyler and his friends ordered more expensive bottles of wine and the priciest items on the menu. $300 steaks, $50 side dishes, specialty cocktails between wine courses. I grew increasingly anxious about the bill but remained silent, assuming Tyler had planned this elaborate dinner for a reason. About halfway through the meal, I noticed Tyler's attention drifting to a table of women nearby. They were dressed in elegant cocktail dresses, laughing over martinis. One blonde in particular caught his eye, and he made no effort to hide his staring. "Now she knows how to dress for her body type," Tyler said, loudly enough for me to hear. His friends chuckled. I felt my cheeks burn with embarrassment. "I thought you liked this dress," I said quietly. "You complimented it before, did I?" Tyler replied with exaggerated confusion. "I must have been being nice. It really does nothing for your figure. In fact, it emphasizes all the wrong places." His friends laughed more openly now. Jason added, "Tyler always had unusual taste in women." My stomach knotted as I realized this was not going to be the special evening I had anticipated. Far from it. I took a large sip of wine, trying to steady myself. The insults became more direct as the main course arrived. Tyler criticized everything from the way I held my fork to how I chewed my food. He made a point of telling his friends about my fashion disasters and makeup catastrophes from previous dates. Each story was exaggerated and twisted to make me sound pathetic and clueless. "Remember when she wore that orange top to the company picnic?" Tyler asked his friends, though none of them had been there. "She looked like a traffic cone with legs." I sat in stunned silence, unable to defend myself as the three men laughed at my expense. The few times I tried to speak up, Tyler would interrupt with, "Emma does not know what she is talking about. She is just a graphic designer, not exactly high level." By the time dessert menus were offered, I was fighting back tears. I declined dessert, wanting only for this nightmare to end. Tyler and his friends, however, ordered the most expensive options, along with dessert wines and specialty coffees. Finally, the waiter brought the check, placing it discreetly in the center of the table. The total was just over $700. I watched in horror as Tyler pushed back his chair and stood up. "Well, this has been enlightening," he said, looking down at me with cold eyes I did not recognize. "But I cannot do this anymore. You are just too ugly for someone like me." The restaurant seemed to go silent around us. Nearby diners turned to stare. His friends snickered, but even they seemed slightly shocked by the bluntness of his cruelty. What I whispered, unable to process what was happening. "Look," Tyler continued, putting on his jacket. "I gave it a shot. I tried to help you improve your appearance, but some things cannot be fixed. A girl like you should be grateful I even dated you." With that, he turned and walked toward the exit. His friends hurried after him, still laughing. One of them, Derek, glanced back and shrugged as if to say, "Tough luck," before they all disappeared through the door. I sat frozen, abandoned at the table with a $700 bill and the weight of complete humiliation crushing me. The restaurant had gone uncomfortably quiet, then burst into murmurs as people discussed what they had just witnessed. A waitress named Maria approached my table cautiously. "Are you okay?" she asked, genuine concern in her eyes. I could not speak. I simply nodded and pulled out my credit card. I would have to max it out to pay for this dinner, but I could not bear to cause a scene by trying to dispute the bill. "That guy was a real jerk," Maria said quietly as she processed my payment. "I have seen a lot of bad behavior in this job, but that was exceptionally cruel. Do you need me to call someone for you?" "No," I managed to say, my voice barely audible. "Thank you. I will be fine." But I was not fine. Not at all. The Uber ride home was the longest 20 minutes of my life. I sat in silence, staring out the window at the Chicago skyline, trying to make sense of what had just happened. The driver, sensing my distress, mercifully did not attempt conversation. When I finally reached my apartment, I closed the door behind me and collapsed onto the floor. The tears I had been fighting all evening finally broke free. I sobbed until my throat was raw. until my makeup streaked down my face in black rivulets, until my body ached from the force of my grief. After what felt like hours, I crawled to my bed, still in my dress and heels. My first instinct was to call Tyler, to beg him to explain, to apologize, to take me back. My finger hovered over his contact information on my phone, but something stopped me. A small spark of anger began to glow within me, gradually replacing the humiliation. Who was he to treat me this way? What gave him the right to judge my appearance so harshly, to humiliate me in front of not only his friends, but an entire restaurant of strangers? I put my phone down and went to wash my face. As I scrubbed away Tyler's preferred makeup style, I began to see more clearly. This was not the first time he had been cruel, just the most extreme and public instance. Instead of calling him, I began scrolling through our text message history, seeing patterns I had previously ignored. Messages where he would cancel plans last minute. Times when he would not respond for days, then act like nothing was wrong. Comments about upgrading my style, my hair, my entire persona. Then I noticed something else. Several times over the past month, Tyler had mentioned being too busy to see me because of work events, yet there were no corresponding posts on his social media about these supposed obligations. Curious, I searched more extensively through his accounts. That was when I found them. Photos of Tyler with another woman at a rooftop bar downtown, dated 3 weeks earlier. His arm was around her waist. She was blonde, thin, and impeccably dressed. Exactly his type, apparently. The pieces suddenly fit together. Tyler had been planning to end our relationship, but instead of doing it privately and respectfully, he had orchestrated this public humiliation. The expensive dinner, the invited friends, the deliberate cruelty. It was all designed to hurt me as deeply as possible. I called Jessica, my best friend, who had never particularly warmed to Tyler. Through my broken explanation, she listened patiently. "Emma, I need to tell you something," she said when I finished. "Tyler has been bad-mouthing you to people for weeks. He told mutual friends you were clingy and desperate. I did not want to hurt you, but now I wish I had said something sooner. That information was the final confirmation I needed." This was not a momentary lapse in judgment or a misunderstanding. This was who Tyler truly was, and I had been blind to it. Something shifted inside me at that moment. I was done being a victim. I dried my tears and made a decision. I would not let Tyler's cruelty define me or break me. First, I systematically removed Tyler from my digital life. I unfriended and blocked him on all social media platforms. I deleted his contact information from my phone. I removed every photo of us together from my apartment and my devices. Then, I did something more proactive. I called Sullivan's and asked to speak with the manager. I explained what had happened and made a specific request. The manager, appalled by Tyler's behavior, was surprisingly receptive to my proposal. Next, I searched social media for any information about women Tyler had dated before me. I found 3: Stephanie, Allison, and Jordan. I sent each of them a carefully worded message explaining who I was and asking if they would be willing to share their experiences with Tyler. Within hours, all 3 had responded with disturbing similarities in their stories. Tyler had followed the same pattern with each of them. Initial charm, followed by controlling behavior, culminating in public humiliation when he moved on to someone new. With their permission, I compiled their accounts along with my own. I was not seeking revenge in the traditional sense. I wanted justice, closure, and perhaps most importantly, to prevent other women from experiencing what we had. By midnight, my plan was in place. I was not going to confront Tyler directly or engage in any dramatic showdown. Instead, I would let the consequences of his actions unfold naturally. I went to bed feeling strangely peaceful. For the first time in months, I did not worry about what Tyler would think of my decisions or appearance. I slept deeply and woke to the sound of my phone buzzing repeatedly. When I checked the screen, I saw 13 missed calls. 7 from Tyler, 3 from his friends, and 3 from numbers I did not recognize. There were also dozens of text messages and social media notifications. I sat up in bed, slowly scrolling through the missed calls and messages. The voicemails from Tyler started out angry, then gradually shifted to concerned, and finally became pleading. "Emma, what the hell? Take down that video right now," was his first message, timestamped at 7 a.m. By the third voicemail, his tone had changed. "Look, I am sorry about last night. I had too much to drink. Can we please talk about this? The sixth message revealed true panic. Emma, please. I am going to lose my job over this. My boss called me this morning. This is serious. I did not immediately return any of the calls. Instead, I opened my laptop and found exactly what I expected. The restaurant security footage from the previous night had been uploaded to their social media accounts with a statement about their zero-tolerance policy for abusive behavior in their establishment. They had not named Tyler specifically, but his face was clearly visible, as was his verbal assault. The video had already been viewed over 50,000 times and shared widely. The restaurant had positioned it as a statement against bullying and emotional abuse, offering a free dessert to anyone who shared the post with the hashtag number respect for all. Sullivan's marketing team had executed my suggestion perfectly. I had not asked them to shame Tyler specifically, but rather to use the incident as an opportunity to take a stand against public humiliation. Their social media response had been measured and professional, yet effective. Tyler's workplace had apparently seen the video, recognized him, and taken immediate action. According to one of the text messages from Derek, Tyler had been called into a meeting with HR and placed on probation pending an investigation into his conduct. The company was concerned about how his behavior reflected on their corporate values. What Tyler did not yet know was that the testimonials from his previous girlfriends had been anonymously submitted to the same HR department, creating a documented pattern of behavior that would be difficult to dismiss. His friends were also facing consequences. Adam had texted, "My girlfriend saw the video and is threatening to break up with me for not stopping Tyler." "What did you tell the restaurant manager?" I felt no satisfaction in their panic, only a calm sense that justice was being served. I had not sought revenge or tried to destroy Tyler's life. I had simply allowed his own actions to speak for themselves in a public forum. I decided not to respond to Tyler directly. There was nothing more to say. Instead, I texted Jessica and asked her to come over. I needed the support of a true friend as I processed everything. Over coffee, Jessica helped me see how much I had diminished myself during my relationship with Tyler. "You stopped wearing colors you love because he criticized them," she pointed out. "You changed your hair, your makeup, even the way you talk." She was right. I had been slowly erasing myself to become Tyler's version of the perfect girlfriend, and still it had not been enough. It would never have been enough because the problem was not my appearance. The problem was Tyler's need to control and demean others to feel powerful. In the days that followed, I focused on reclaiming myself. I scheduled an appointment with a therapist, Dr. Bennett, who specialized in helping people recover from emotional abuse. In our first session, she helped me understand that my childhood experiences with bullying had created vulnerabilities that Tyler had exploited. "Healing is not linear," Dr. Bennett told me. "There will be good days and difficult days. The important thing is that you have taken back your power." I began reconnecting with friends I had neglected during my relationship with Tyler. I joined a support group for women recovering from toxic relationships. I slowly rebuilt my confidence, not based on external validation, but on a genuine appreciation for my unique qualities. I bought clothes I loved, regardless of whether they followed current trends. I wore my hair natural instead of spending hours styling it to someone else's preference. I rediscovered my passion for art and design that had taken a back seat to pleasing Tyler. 6 months passed quickly with these positive changes. I had not heard directly from Tyler since that night, though mutual acquaintances occasionally mentioned that he had been struggling socially and professionally since the incident. Then one afternoon, I was sketching at my favorite coffee shop when someone approached my table. I looked up to see Tyler standing there, almost unrecognizable. He had lost weight and dark circles shadowed his eyes. His usual confident posture was replaced by a slight stoop. "Emma," he said quietly, "can I talk to you for a minute?" I gestured to the chair across from me, not out of obligation, but from a place of strength. I no longer feared him or craved his approval. "I owe you an apology," he began. "What I did that night was inexcusable. I have been in therapy trying to understand why I treated you and others so terribly." He paused, seeming genuinely remorseful. "I do not expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I recognize how wrong I was." I studied him for a moment, feeling neither anger nor pity, just a calm detachment. "Thank you for saying that, Tyler. I hope you continue your therapy and find whatever peace you are looking for." As he left, I realized how far I had come. 6 months earlier, I might have desperately accepted his apology, and even tried to rekindle the relationship. Now I recognized that his growth journey was his own responsibility, not mine. The experience with Tyler, painful as it was, had ultimately freed me. I had learned to recognize red flags in relationships. I had discovered my own resilience and worth. I had built genuine connections with people who valued me for exactly who I was. Most importantly, I had learned that sometimes the worst moments in our lives can lead to the best outcomes. That public humiliation at Sullivan's had been the catalyst for profound personal growth and self-discovery. Now, when I look in the mirror, I no longer search for flaws or imagine Tyler's criticisms. I see a strong, creative woman who survived emotional abuse and emerged stronger. I see someone worthy of authentic love and respect, starting with self-respect. Sometimes I think about that night at the restaurant and feel grateful, not for Tyler's cruelty, but for the clarity it eventually brought me. In trying to break me, he inadvertently set me free. Have you ever experienced a moment that seemed devastating but ultimately led to positive change in your life? I would love to hear your stories in the comments below. And if my journey resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories of resilience and growth. Remember, you deserve to be with people who celebrate you, not those who tear you down. Thank you for listening, and I wish you relationships filled with genuine respect and appreciation.